because there's something bigger going on when we hear the words plastic surgery tourism and you hear about these websites. Can you talk to me a little bit about the larger organization that's luring women in?
Yes, so first I want to offer my condolences. It was really hard to watch that.
Thank you.
It makes me embarrassed about my field because this is not what it's for. Those groups you couldn't have stopped it because those groups, the SX groups or the surgery groups, they lure women in, and the women have no clue that they're being manipulated and brainwashed.
I'm covering that. I'm exposing them now.
That's right. And there's the administrators of the groups are behind the scenes like puppeteers, manipulating everything that the women see. Our phones are in our hand for the majority of the day, and they're watching before and after pictures and people at their consultations and right before surgery, selfies with their gown on in the pre-op area.
Yes.
And then, you know, like it's just constantly, and it's tens of thousands of women inside of these groups. And so it creates an obsession within the person who's looking at it, and they don't even realize it. So when they start to see the red flags when they get there, they're so obsessed with the outcome that they've been fed that they will do anything to make sure that it goes through.
Well, you know, I wanted to do this show because recently the New York Times called this entire thing out. It's a social media phenomenon, plastic surgery Instagram dolls, and in particular, these SX pages. And so, Dr. Mila, why don't you talk a little bit about the fact that there are so many people looking to do medical procedures outside of the United States because of cost?
So if you're in these groups and you decide, and then also they normalize getting 6 surgeries at one time, which is absurd.
Yes.
You know, they normalize it. So these women will go and get these literal overhauls. And if you go and do a consult in the United States for all the stuff that they want, that might cost $40,000 or $50,000. So then even though you may say, well, I'm just gonna get surgery in the United States so I can be safe, when you go and get that estimate for $50,000, and somebody tells you they got it all in the Dominican Republic or Colombia or wherever for $8,000, including a 10-day stay in a recovery house, you're gonna be like, well, all these girls were fine, so I'll probably be fine.
These are major surgeries.
Yes.
And what are the complications that women are facing that lead to death and that lead to the deformities that we heard about in Lindsay's case?
So excessive blood loss is one. Fat embolism is a big one. So a lot of the women get Brazilian butt lifts or the fat transferred to the buttock area. And there's large vessels in the buttock area. And if the fat is transferred inadvertently into one of those vessels, it essentially goes up to your lungs and suffocates you.
That's right.
If somebody is right now, because I'm sure that there is somebody watching, and it may be you, that is dissatisfied with how they look, and they're in one of these groups or thinking about going overseas to get a surgery, what is it that you want to say, doctor?
I say get out of the groups. When I do consults in my office, I ask them if they're in those groups. The groups are bad.
Thank you.
It changes the way you make decisions. It changes the way you perceive yourself. So I think first remove yourself from the group. Red flags, if the doctor should be a board certified plastic surgeon, not cosmetic surgeon.
How do you, okay, so big difference between plastic and cosmetic surgeon. But how do you know? Because if you're dealing with other countries, how do you know if the license is legit, if it's been bought, if it's fake?
You don't. That's the problem.
That's what happened with.
That's the problem. If you can't elucidate these things because they have everything's different. The rules are different. There's a language barrier. There's so many things. So you can't like with certainty figure any of that stuff out. That's the problem. That's why it's just best not to do that.
Well, that's what I think. Don't do it.